kegima omwanchi omulire chitarikini 15 mutinyo 5 na 3 mwaka w'ikiri 2022 asine yaliganiri asigokoretera amangana maya nanyereko bakagokorekana kora chingongo enye chinsi enda gutubwatia asi chinsemo chicha Facebook gwetera Ndizi TV News Digital nabego chinsemo chicha YouTube gwetera Ndizi TV News nabego sensemo ya website nabego tonyara gwetera www.ndizitv.or.ke omwanchi omulia chinga kitoroche aboroki wabagendete kuyaligania ase okoirana chisku nabwo kwenyorera chisemi iretariane Frida Kerubo na sichinsemo chibiorokereri tochikonya gatokubatenere Joshua Auta ngwira nanda segekeke ngomanye asinchira hiyo wengi Omanchi omulie ginga chaka kigimani ongo chakera ase omurwane rubikiro kyobo governor ime county ya Mombasa wetera ekiamagia ODM Abdul Samir Nasir oyanyara ko bagako bamerania ogosikirwa mutuku ase obocholi bwikiro kyobo governor nigatebire buna nigarachigwe kabwe sibike gambero nabo igokobeka ekina ekyo ase ngencho yanyare ko bakigosikirwa ase amatuko amatambaro batura senchera iyo winge.
We are going to court. We are going to court and we're going to demand, because there are only 3 instances where an election can be postponed. One, in the event that there's a serious breach of security. Let me ask you, have we had any incidences of violence in Mombasa? Nothing. None of those people, none of those staff members have even said that their lives are being threatened or anything at all. Do we have any natural calamity that has happened in Mombasa? Do we have any breach that has actually gone to show that there's been a malpractice? The law is actually very, very clear as well. Sheria iko wazi. Hawezi tu kuinuka na kuamua kwa leo tunapiga kura kisha ni vipi wenzetu wanajua mapema zaidi ya kwa kura zitakuwa zinabadilishwa. Ili ya kwanza mbeleni wenzetu walikuwa katika mstari wa mbele ya kwa tunajua kura itabadilishwa baada ya wiki 2 kabla hata OCO hajatoa amri hiyo. Hii nyingine wanainuka na kuanza kuamua tu, no consultation, nothing. Nyinyi mnawachukulia vipi watu wa Mombasa na watu wa Kakamega?
Na yo ndiongoso ase ekisemi se omwaziri w'ekisemi Professor George Magoha anyare kwa bakagote abuna egati y'ekisukuru cy'oboroso nabo kiri cya secondary nigo kira kigutumika ebirasi biri birororo korengana nere nigo obwagachibwe birasi bogenderete ase aene kiri bunamba kikonyara kwa bagwikirani omorobelyo yo OCBC hanigo anyara kwa bakakoya kwana ase e county area Kiambu chingaki alikoligereria obwagachibwe birasi bya CBC.
In terms of the using of our primary school resources, we have already identified 2,300 classrooms, schools which are within the same precinct as high schools. And because time is of essence, we shall also use those classrooms. There will be about between 3,000 to 5,000 classrooms available in those schools, which means we don't have to worry about teachers because they are in the same compound. I don't want to think for the incoming government, but we have left for them an avenue of low-lying fruits. For example, we have not taken schools which have the same fence with the primary schools. That is an area which they may decide to move into should there be need for extra space. So I think this is something that is deliverable, and I want to thank everybody who has contributed, more specifically the Ministry of Interior and coordination of non-national government.
Ababwatani county ya Kisumu bono nigo besoki nabo igogokwanera bene nyatako abogo korekana ase enseto ya Kenya chinga kichi bari gokwana barike bamangana nigo bairali bagelia soko bairaneli abakenya mbiya mono ase okobeka omulembe chinga kinabo igomagega yechikura gokorekana.
We want to thank and salute Kenyans for going out on the 9th of August 2022 to cast their votes for new leaders. This was carried out peacefully, demonstrating the maturity of voters in this nation. We are very grateful to the Almighty God for the peace that we experienced after praying as God-fearing nation. Indeed, we have come a long way in as far as holding democratic elections are concerned. Despite the great strides made in achieving this through the Constitution, we continue to experience electoral malpractices and challenges with preparedness for elections, registers, vote transmission, counting, and tallying of votes. As a God-fearing nation, it is most disturbing that people do not practice justice in many occasions. Injustice is celebrated and decorated.
Abamenyi be kaunti ya Kakamega nigo bakumeretie ogukonga kw'obogima ase abakenya kubatekana no komentekana kwa magori y'ebintu keralitu nyarako bakegosoa abisi kubarigereria nabo igokwene kibuna banyarako bagokenya amagori y'ebintu nabo igokororobya amagima y'abakenya.
Waangalie bidhaa ile inahusisha wananchi kwa kawaida. Iteremuke kama ni unga ikuje kabisa haraka iwezekanavyo. Hiyo washughulikie tafadhali.
Kwa hivyo naomba bunge ishughulike chakula ikuje chini mashinani. Na viongozi yenye aswa tumechakua, tulisikia Kenya kwanza ikikwambia watashughulikia chakula ishuke. Chakula inaposhuka itakuwa bora na watushughulikie wananchi kwa jumla.
Tuangalie kwanza bei ya mafuta. Ukishateremsha bei ya mafuta, najua hata bei ya chakula itaanza kurudi chini. Kitu kingine yenye naumiza sisi wazazi wenye bado tunachipukia, wenye tumanza uzazi, hasa sana vijana wadogo kama sisi. Tumeogopa hata kuoa juu utazaa mtoto na masomo imekuwa very expensive sana. Naomba sana Bwana William Ruto, siku yako ya kwanza ukiapishwa, tafadhali CPC, hiyo CBC, tafadhali wazazi wanaumia.
Ababwatani korwa ase kaunti ya Garissa ase sekta yobochenu nigo babekire emerobele ya bene ase okoena na echanjo ya polio ase abana b'emyaka inse yetano ase babekire omurobele yogo chikokorekana ase orobeberu wa Kenya na Somalia. Omurobele yo nigo rachi gokorekana ase ebituo 14 ase balengete gokonya abana gwetania chiribu isano na isato nabo igo abangina babwate oburito gwetania chiribu emerongo ebere na batano na babere.
Some of the factors that contributed to this low immunization coverage is the socio-cultural norms, the insecurity in those areas. Also, the facilities are low in those areas. There are very few facilities which are in those areas. So, through this project, we will be doing outreaches in reaching those hard-to-reach areas which have no access to those facilities.
We want the community to be engaged, to know more about immunization, so that they should accept immunization as it is, as it being part of, they should take their kids to the facility so that they can be immunized. And we are changing that aspect of social and that cultural barrier whereby they tend not to know about immunization.
Ababwatani korwa ase ekiombe getenenerete obonchere nebiwanda KNCIC bono nigo baganirie abakenya koiranirane emirimo yabo ya kawaida ase magega yobocholi obonene koera bakoragwa nabateneneri babo nigo banyareko bakogania abakenya kogendereria emirimo ebyo nonyane binyinyi bya corona byanyate ko bakubigwateka ase ense ya Kenya nigo bale no kwigena buna emirimo yabo ne chikonyara ko bage kogenderera ase inchira endonge ase amatuko alibosio.
Election violence in Mombasa County has been a major issue in the previous elections, and there were fears that this vote could spur conflict in identified areas like Likoni, Kisauni, and Vita. Thus, many businesses opted to remain closed. We are happy to note that Mombasa County remains peaceful, with normality resuming slowly and everybody going on with their normal business, contrary of what was expected. The National Security Advisory Committee, which comprises of top security and government officials, and also assured the country of adequate security as they go about their activities.
We expect the incoming government, whichever it will be, after the final rounds of disputes and anything else is done, we expect the incoming government to be able to put policies in place that will be able to open up the environment for good business to thrive. We'd be expecting this government to ensure that Dongokundu, the special economic zone, is working. We'd be expecting this government to ensure that the businesses that were suffering as a result of COVID or any other measures negative are being restored to work. We basically expect a government that would be involving the business community in the decisions that we'll be making policy-wise, so that we are part and parcel of the journey with the government as opposed to loading down on us.
Manje mulira kurwa sorbotiro ni onekere omwali wa mangana maya ase ebire biga kurende ngo sabato basagosika to basakanyera chikoraga chinsa 10 ayona mangeno yanyare ase enchira iyo bwenye maiga ichikamera soko ene kibuna ebichana boigo eliogire gwikera sole ase enchira ya bene nere petronira mukira tonya ko tukubwatana nere Joshua Autas chinse mochi biorokerelia na enchiria ne Frida Kerubo nkukoganelia obuligerelia buya.